I'm worried about us. You know, I'm scared. You know, I'm 36, you're 22. It like terrifies me. I feel so much for you, like just in this like short little bit. But there's also like so many reservations because you are so young. And I'm fearful that I'll fall for you and that it'll all fall apart after all this.
I think I'm scared of the same thing.
But I really, really feel connected to you.
Hey, hello there, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Bachelor podcast. Hi, my name's Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
And behind the glass is one Sir Patrick Hickey.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, Pat. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Dylan, before we get into the show, we got to remind everybody to go on to the another Bachelor
Why don't you
podcast.
just start taking over those duties? Because I do often forget, so please.
Oh, okay. We have a Facebook group called Another Bachelor Podcast Group, and there's only 12 of us. So you guys are fucking slacking, okay? I've been posting every day like Nick gave me marching orders saying, hey, we're going to build something here, and you guys aren't showing up. So here's the deal. If you guys don't show up by next week, I'm taking the fucking thing down, and
If
then the
you
party's
build
over.
it, they may not come.
I don't know, 12. I'm kind of impressed. But if
Yeah.
you want to actually go where people are, check out our Instagram.
Yep.
522 on that big guy. But we should get it in the episode. We took way too long last week.
Yeah, let's do this. Hey, so it's a sunny morning, and the narrative of the episode is already getting sketched out. A lot of the girls are talking about, Becca, she's just so young.
And look at her just swimming in a pool by herself. Look how she's so young.
Krystal's proud of Arie sending Lauren home. He's, quote, a man who knows what he wants. And the girls are living in a false reality. Listen, we should say we're going to try and be succinct with our Krystal hating, but she is in fine form tonight. So do forgive us if we bash on her a little too much.
That fried voice was over the top this week, right? And it got me thinking, do you guys remember that 2002 sleeper hit, that little horror film called The Grudge?
Here he goes.
It really got kind of kicked off some of that really gory horror that became so popular with the Saw franchise and stuff. The Grudge did.
I think you're mistaken. This Korean Water Ghost franchise was not too gruesome. It was more psychological.
Grudge?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I'm thinking of Hostel.
Exhibit A.
This.
What does that remind you of?
Pat, please don't. Please turn it off.
She's a demon, damn it! She's a demon!
That movie gives me the heebie-jeebies still to this day. I'm so scared of that movie. I walked into the booth before we got started, and he had that clip pulled up with the girl's face. I mean, I'm not going to sleep well tonight. It's going to be in my head when I go to bed.
I have to say, though, we saw that he was going to be pulling up a clip from The Grudge before the show. I didn't know what it was related to. He pulled it together. That sounded exactly like her, and she had a very eerie psychopath vibe all show. I like it.
That's my hot take.
Chris Harrison walks in and takes way too long to tell the girls that they are going to, ready for it, girls, South Lake Tahoe.
You guys are going to go around the world, and it's going to be a 4-hour plane ride.
I spent some time in Lake Tahoe, and that's where a bunch of fucking dirty hippies with snowboards heal.
I was gonna say, I was watching with my darling fiance Cecilia, and she noticed how empty the lakes were. Usually the lakes are filled with debaucherous and awful human beings that have similar barbed wiring tattoo that you have, Pat. They litter the lakes when the weather's warm. This is the off season. The Bachelor is back on a budget. I'm confused about the distinction between Lake Tahoe and South Lake Tahoe. I feel like I don't know exactly what's going on there, but I feel like the South Lake may have a tourism board of their own.
Yes, it definitely seemed like they made that distinction very clear that they were not just at Lake Tahoe, they were at South Lake Tahoe. But I have to say, I was impressed. Their tourism board did quite a good job. You guys shat at me last week because I said Napa's not that beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, 100 times out of 100, I'll take South Lake Tahoe over Napa.
I was thinking that you would say that when we got in here, and you're wrong still, but I wanted to hate on Lake Tahoe, and I just couldn't. I mean, they're staying at a Hard Rock, which is sad, but it's beautiful. I mean, the waters, the trees, the air,
all good. I first familiarized myself with Lake Tahoe in the 1996 PlayStation game X Games.
right?
One of the first games that came out for PlayStation,
Yep.
but one of the maps was Lake Tahoe,
Yep.
and I hated playing it because of how hilly it was.
Yep.
But in my older age, I think I'm going to give those hills a chance.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot, another one that came out alongside that one, and subsequently buried it. Hey, a trademark of this franchise is excitable cast running into new room and board. Way too excited. I think they have cattle prods, the producers, before they get into those buildings. But, Pat, what say you?
They look like a bunch of fucking lunatics.
Oh, look! Twin-size bunk beds!
Yeah. There's a refrigerator!
Oh, my God!
The date card gets dropped, and it's CN. And the girls are all convinced that she is a goner.
They do seem to get that vibe, but I think Cien was quietly confident. She was kind of acting like, "Oh, I'm worried that happened to Jenna."
Right.
But
Right.
But I think she felt pretty safe. She knew the kiss they had and how Arie was impressed with her Yale degree.
I have a hot take here.
Hot take, classic Pat.
Well,
Yeah,
the date
I'm
card
excited
said,
for this.
let love soar, and then later on...
What
they
did it say?
Let love soar.
Okay.
And then later on, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Arie and her are chatting, and they keep talking about the end of the love story, and then some music kind of chimes out. Like all this got put together. I think she may be a front runner at this point. I'm just saying.
Front runner may be apt. No chance she's winning the competition.
Yeah, I have to agree with you both. I think she's a front runner, but I don't think she's going to win. When they're parasailing, I thought that was a perfect opportunity for them to have an in-air kiss that could then be used for their montage later on, and no kiss was choreographed.
You have to be aware of these things.
We saw Vanessa get kissed in 0G, in an ocean, in a hot tub, in very extreme temperatures, probably on a private jet, and it was a beautiful narrative.
Yeah.
Becca K, who I think is going to win, she's already had a kiss with confetti falling all around here that will be used later.
Weak confetti. And that's why you listen to this podcast. I mean, Pat, don't mean to shit on your hot take, but that right there, that's a hot take.
They should have kissed in the parasail.
Step it up.
Okay.
Can I say, I don't think that Cien's going to win the competition because she is not all over him. Now, I could be entirely wrong about Arie, but I genuinely think that the people that he has the strongest connection with, he's established sexual chemistry with first. And there's nothing wrong with that. Different strokes for different folks, but there are people who try to establish emotional foundations before they get into relationships. This is not what Arie's looking for. I think Cien is a little too prude for him. And that's just my take. Before they get going, I mean, we mentioned that Cien had quiet confidence. Krystal had the opposite of quiet confidence, loud confidence.
Loud, boisterous confidence.
That Cien was going home.
She's talking a lot of shit.
She says that she would be happy if Cien went home, which is fine because it means less girls for Arie. But she then does that terrifying smile and goes, "Good luck." And I want to say it's fine if you want to play the role of the villain. Every good season has one, but there's a fine line between being a villain and being a revolting human being. Like, she is She is one of the worst people to grace this franchise since I've been watching.
I feel like she's definitely being prodded by these producers to put up some of these lines that would only be spoken by Regina George and Mean Girls, but she throws out there with such fluidity. Yeah. I feel like she's being prodded because no one can be this psycho. We'll hear more from her.
Yes, we will. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah. I thought that when they got to the beach, this CN lady and Arie, that the conversation was just rough. I mean, very, very rough. The date got better, but I mean, really rough going in the beginning.
Can I play a clip? This is at some point Arie tells her why he likes her, and as you were mentioning earlier, this man does lead with his dick, not his brain.
Right.
And this is why these are the things he likes about her.
We only spent like 10 seconds together, but I just was like so like interested about you, and I was in that little 10-20 second talk. I learned more about you than I did a lot of the girls I talked to for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like she's like very educated, she's traveled, she's, our conversation's going great. And then I was like, and she's a damn good kisser. I need to find a way to give this girl a date.
Do you realize what he said there?
If you had closed that clip clean, that would have been wonderful.
Okay. Do you notice what he said there? He said, this is why I liked you. He says nothing, and then he says, you went to college, and then I just had to find a way to kiss her.
Well, I was going to say, like, he said that he knew more about her in 10 seconds of talking than 5 minutes with the other girls. And that's not true. I mean, I guess it is in a way, but it's only that she has such glaring accomplishments over the other girls. I mean, you could talk to Krystal for a half an hour and not know what the fuck she was doing with her life. Sien's gone to Yale, and she is far too good for this competition, which is what angered me so much when she talked about the fairy tale thing. She said that she doesn't see a lot of girls like her having fairy tale endings. Let's forget about the whole race thing. I don't want you to fly off the handle. But I was sitting there thinking, like, Sien, you're perfectly capable of having a fairy tale ending. You just have to do one important thing first. Leave this television show. Because, best case scenario, you settle down in Flagstaff, Arizona, in a tract home that
Scottsdale.
is far too close to Arie's parents. That's not a fairy tale ending.
Are you ready to see his parents every other day?
And it's every day. He said every other day. It's a complete lie. You can see the cogs moving when he's lying. I can't remember who he did it with. Maybe it was Becca K when he said, I've never put earrings on a girl. Oh, no, I have, but just my mom.
You said we can't talk about the race portion when she says she hasn't seen a girl like her in a fairy tale, but that is absolutely what she's referring to. And it upset me because I was like, I want to introduce Sien to Disney's 49th animated feature, a little film called The Princess and the Frog. Princess Tiana, the 9th Disney princess, who was African American and was an example for young African American girls. And when that movie came out, it was 2009, and Sien was only 18 years old, still very much in her formative years.
She did not grow up with stories like that, and you know what? That's just the truth.
I gotta say,
it's just the truth, Nick.
Even though she was bringing that stuff up, I feel like it was once again ABC that was pushing this narrative. Arie,
I think that's Donnie tinfoil hat.
No. Arie may be a race car driver, but I think ABC is a race car driver.
Oh, nice. Wow. That was very, very good. You know, I do have to say, we have had a slurry of new racially diverse films like The Princess and the Frog and that movie Frozen with all those diverse people and Moana.
I looked up I thought Frozen, but no, Ilsa and the other one, they're both white.
It was a joke.
I think that's his point.
Oh, okay. Well, I will say that Tiana is the third non-white Disney princess behind the Native American Pocahontas, and also, although she looked white, there is no way in hell that Princess Jasmine was white.
And Ariel's a mermaid. So, I mean, what even is she? You know?
Yeah.
White.
Hey, on the CN point here, I actually had hope at some point during their day. I believe it was at the nighttime when she had a question with him. She came out, full force here and hit him up with a real question. Do you remember the question she asked?
No, I don't.
How do you wink?
No. I hear. I have a clip. Can I play a clip?
Oh, I thought you might have a clip.
I'm gonna play a clip.
So I'm curious. The first thing that I heard you say when you came into the mansion that night was that you hadn't been in love in 5 years, and I'm curious, why you think that is.
Great question. Here's his answer. I want the audience to count how many times he says "really" during this exchange.
It obviously didn't work out. And I think it took me a little longer to get over than I really realized. And I think I really dated people who I knew weren't really ready for marriage. And I feel like that was safe for me.
And you were kind of doing it to probably protect yourself from having that heartbreak again.
Yeah, and I just wasn't really putting myself in a position to meet somebody.
Boy, is he an idiot.
He only said it 3 times.
No, he didn't.
He doesn't say it that much. I mean, it's overused, but
Speaking of these,
it's a 4 count.
I disagree.
It's a 4 count.
Speaking about these linguistic analytics, did you have your lovely bride count up how many times he said amazing in this one? Because it was off the charts.
I really like that you called her lovely bride as opposed to little wifey, which is the term that Pat used last week.
I actually didn't start at the show. I marked every time he said amazing during this show. It was... it was chock full of a whole shitload of amazing.
Off the charts once again.
If you marked it every time, how many times did he say it?
I'll go through my notes later, and I'll give that number to you at the end of the show, you fucker.
But then they wrap up this lovely night date with another musical artist.
A trademark of this franchise, much like cast members running into new homes screaming, is the live performance and dance in front of perfect strangers. Lanco?
Lanco.
The number one country artist. Oh, wait. No one knows who the fuck this guy is.
Whoa.
Hey, wait a minute. Dave Matthews isn't putting out an album this year and wants to, be on this show or something? Fucking A, man.
You guys are not giving Lanco enough. I mean... Brandon killed it on the vocals, but I thought really it was.
Dog.
I thought it was Jared on the keys. He was really having some fun. I wish that we would have got to see a little bit of Tripp's personality. They really kept him on a really simple line.
I think we should talk about whether or not we want to continue doing this podcast with Nick after we record this episode.
They were a little bit of a knockoff Florida Georgia line, but I thought the fellas did well. Except Chandler, he sucks.
Hold on. This is where my conspiracy theory comes in that she will make it to the end. Okay, so the whole thing. The perfect end to the love story. This guy happens to be singing a song, I think, called The Perfect End to a Love Story.
Yeah, I think you read into the music way too much.
Oh, yeah, he just happened to be singing a song while they were just having that discussion before they opened up the doors and walked into a crowd of extras.
You know what? I'd be interested in looking up who in the past has gotten these dance in front of crowds dates. I'll tell you one off the top of my head that I know. D-Lo. How'd that work out?
Not well.
No.
It's true, but I mean, I don't necessarily think she wins, but there was no coincidence with that song they picked. It fit the entire narrative they spoke about throughout that entire day.
Top 5. She'll finish top 5. We got to get to a young lady named Mikkel who gets a sad phone call from her mother. I feel like she was a little too optimistic when she got on the phone with her mom. You don't get phones.
Yeah, that was my.
You have this phone for a reason.
That was I laughed because of the cruelty, I guess. That was sad. I just had glaring notes. I'm like, they get phones now?
Yeah. She's like, hey, Mom, how's it going? Not good. Your grandpa perished. And I do have to say, it's very, very sad, but very good strategy having your grandpa croak, because she does not have to weather the storm that is these next couple weeks. I mean, this is when stuff gets really, really scratchy.
I have a couple notes on this. One thing is, I don't think she's coming back. So, c'est la vie, Mikkel.
I think she'll for sure come back.
I do too. The way they
Well, the
referenced
other
it.
one. All right, so she was wearing a choker. That's a style that should be retired from 1997. That's that.
Terry wears chokers all the time.
I hate Terry.
We just last season we tried to inform Patrick how the choker is back with a vengeance.
What are you talking
Not
about?
in my world.
You call the internet the web, and you don't understand how fashionable chokers are. You're very confusing.
Your lovely bride dons a choker every
Yeah,
now
all
and
the
then.
she
time.
doesn't. She doesn't. And the problem is the wrong people are trying to wear
Simply
it.
not true.
Okay, all right. This is the one thing I liked about McKellen. It gave me hope for this show. The fact that she wasn't a reptile and didn't have to do the trope of, well, I need to talk to Arie to let him know I'm leaving. She just packed her fucking bags and got in a van and got the fuck out
Or
of there.
the this is what my grandpa would want me to do line. I'm glad we didn't hear that. I should say that I am a little wary of this strategy. I think the family should do a little bit of digging. I think Mikkel may be culpable.
Hey, there was a-
I want to go on record and say I don't think Mikkel had anything to do with her grandpa's.
Hey, group date
Passing.
card gets put down, and that means we need a.
roll call. Hey, Dylan, hit
Just
the music.
kidding. It's everyone but Becca. So,
Terry.
Krystal seems to have this delusional mantra that she's secure with herself and she knows who she is and that she's better than all the girls and she's in reality and the other ones are not.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Shakespeare said it originally. She doth protest too much.
Yeah.
If you are secure in oneself,
Right.
you do not repeat it over and over.
Shouting it from the rooftops. Again, I cannot wait for her to be eliminated from this show. It is going to be the best moment of the season. It will trump anything that happens. That's my hot take.
I feel like you could find some gal pals from this cast that would agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, Krystal, being the lightning rod that she is, has made so many of the girls more endearing. Like Caroline, we'll get into it later. Unjust elimination. Insane that she was let go. She's so wonderful. But seeing the girls rip on Krystal just warms my heart. Chelsea's coming up a few notches. But again, getting ahead of ourselves.
Someone who has genuine confidence in this date, though, is someone we've almost written off as quite the weirdo.
Yep.
Kendall.
Just an outstanding performance. I thought that Caroline was one of the stars of the show, stars of the episode. Kendall has to be.
She was definitely up there, and at first, the way she was talking, I was a little worried. I thought she had a hubris and a lack of respect for nature that rivaled Timothy Treadwell, aka Grizzly Man.
Oh, that's right. That is one of the most confounding human beings on planet Earth because he's very, very effeminate, but he does the manliest thing that any man has ever done.
Dude, he was a meth addict, man.
He palms a grizzly bear in the face for getting too close to him, but before he does that, he says in this cadence, "Go away! Get out of here! Go!" And then palm strikes a grizzly bear in the face. It's amazing, that guy. Thank you, Werner Herzog, for making such a wonderful documentary.
An incredible departure from Werner's general work, but an enlightening take on the human mind and nature.
I see movement and pain in everything.
My favorite line is when he has the audio tape of the actual bear eating the parents.
Let us hear it.
And he's, I think you should destroy this and never listen to it.
No one can hear this. It is too filled with pain.
I still wish I would have been able to see Werner complete smoke jumpers.
Entourage deep pulls. All right, let's get into this date. Somebody who reminds me of Werner is Mikkel Hawk. I don't know.
I have to guess it's Michael. I didn't hear anyone say it,
It's spelled Mykel. I'm saying it's Mikkel.
fine, fuck him. He was a Green Beret. Thank you for your service.
General Hawk.
Thank you for your service. Whatever his name is not doing a very good job at teaching these girls survival techniques. One, they don't need them on account of they're walking what seems to be a couple kilometers to a hot tub. Second, they piss in canteens, fake drinking them, and then he pulls out bugs. 95% of them don't eat them. That's the extent of the survival teaching. Drives me crazy. Teach them, break one of their legs and show them how to make a splint, you know?
And also when they break their leg, like then you break their finger so they can only feel the pain in their finger and they don't focus on the what happened to their leg.
Burn them and teach them what pee really can do. Put them up in a tree, very high, very, very high, and tell them how to get down. Take a shit in the woods until a bear comes.
Dig a hole and sharpen wood spears and put it in the hole and then push them in it and see if they live.
A much quicker way to learn actual survival techniques is read The Hatchet. And if you want to take it a step further, read the sequel that had an alternate ending from the beginning, Brian's Winter.
You know, I did not think you were going to say that. I thought you were going to say a better way to learn survival techniques is by watching the hit 90s film The Edge, starring Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin, which is, I believe, what you were referencing when you said dig a hole and put spikes in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I love that movie.
I love that
was
movie
the love
so
interest.
much.
God, I love survival movies. But I hated this segment. Hey, can I say something? One thing came to mind. I don't know if they were doing a juxtaposition of, is that the word? When they
nailed it that time. That was awesome, yeah.
Okay. Chelsea, the single mother on the show, if you really think about this season, she came out of the gate as two things: a front runner, and the season's villain.
The villain. She
Her
was the
and
Olivia.
That goddamn mole have been sidelined. She does do a great imitation of fucking crazy Krystal.
Incredible. And at the very end of the episode, the post-credit scene, she is seen glam-shaming Marique, who infuriated me more than she ever has on this date. You're told that you are going hiking. I would assume the producers are not that vague. You don't only get the date card info. And yet she dons that fucking geisha mask one more time. It drives me insane. There's shots of her at the house without makeup on. She's beautiful. She's absolutely gorgeous. Why does she...
That
Wrong
was
medium.
But that was Dylan dolloping on some makeup.
She is digging down into a gallon drum of whatever viscous shit she puts on her face and just slapping it on and then brushing it all over. It drives me insane.
Fun fact about Marique, underneath all that makeup, she's actually 100% Irish.
Hey, one of the true crimes is that she is not really on this show or even has a shot at it.
What did we talk about in the beginning of this season?
What are you talking about?
I talked to you about how wrong you were for drafting Marique in your Another Bachelor podcast fantasy draft.
Number 1 overall.
Was it number 1
Number 1 overall.
So I said how insane that was, and then I bet you that she will not get as far as Josephine, and I firmly stand by that. Hot tub's wrapped. There are rifts between the girls growing. Krystal sits down next to Arie, and Caroline and Tia hilariously do a little role playing, a mirror image of them, which I thought was just so funny.
It was cute. It was spot on, and it really got underneath.
It was
Krystal's
biting
skin.
too. It was biting. Let's transition over into the night date, but before we do, let's get into some iTunes ratings and reviews.
Oh, guys, I'm so glad we're doing the iTunes segment.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not, but go ahead.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, the fans enjoy it. Let me tell you something, fans. Last week, I made a call. What is it? Call to order or something? What's that called?
A decree?
A CTA?
A CTA. What's that mean?
Call to action?
Call to action. Yeah. And you guys disappointed me this week. Not one single review. What are you thinking? Like,
I think I know what they're thinking. This insane person who, for some reason, I listen to talk into a mic every week, is not going to send me a prize worth $8. I'm going to lay off leaving a review. What do you think?
Well, what I want to give props to is on our Facebook group, we had some people jump in there because there's only 12 of us. So I got to give props to that. So I'm going to call out some people and I'm going to insist you write a review this week or I'm shutting the group down.
Perfect way to endear our early adopters.
Okay, so here it is. Marilyn Sibbing, big fan of yours. Thanks for chiming in on the group, but you need to do a little extra work if you you want me to stick around here and leave a goddamn review this week, or I'm shutting down that group and you're not going to be able to leave any more comments.
You're just going to call out that one person, say her first name and her surname on this podcast, threaten to close the group, which I can almost assure you she is not that concerned about. And then we're going to end this segment?
I kind of recognize that name. I'm pretty sure she's pretty gung-ho, and I would venture a guess that she's already left us an iTunes rating and review. But pull a friend aside, sit down with them, and make them do another.
Okay, or do that.
Night date.
Night date!
They hop on over to
The Edgewood Tahoe.
another lodge. Listen, I think Kendall did great on this date, but she's a little too into eating bugs. She talks about it a little bit too much, and you've done well, but do not shoot yourself in the foot like Krystal is doing.
Couple thoughts on Kendall and Lauren. I think this is the show, this is the part of the show or the season where they try to throw us off. Like, neither of these chicks have a chance, but this episode spends a lot of time focusing on them, and maybe they still have a shot, despite the fact we've seen no connection prior to this in any other episode. Am I right?
I strongly disagree with you. One in opinion and one in fact. We were not shown a lot of Lauren tonight at all. I think we got a little bit of her. I'm not sure where you're getting that.
Well, doesn't he pull her away at some point during that date to say he wants to show her a surprise?
He definitely did. It was the first woman he pulled aside for a second, and Lauren B gave her very, very boring, I'm trying to open myself up to you speech.
Yeah. The thing that was insulting to me was him saying, I have a surprise for you over here. The surprise is a fire pit, which was already there, and a blanket.
And an opportunity to kiss the kissing bandit.
One of the worst surprises ever. Another thing I take issue with is you saying Kendall doesn't have a shot in this competition. I think she does have a shot in this competition. I'm willing to wager she gets further than Marique.
Ooh, let's see it. Let's put some money down.
Hold on here. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying I'm upset that Marique is not getting any attention.
So you acknowledge that Kendall will get further than Marique.
It's a possibility, but who cares? They're both not going to make it to the hometowns. Okay.
Very, very strong possibility.
I would love at the end of this episode we wrap it up and we start throwing out who you guys do think win, because I don't actually know. It seems like you guys don't think anybody has a shot, but keep it, save it. At the end, we're going to reveal who their front runners are.
Okay, I kind of like that. That's kind of fun. It is crazy to me that the irony is not lost on Krystal that she is stopping everyone's conversation to tell them that she had a difficult time today on the date, which is quickly followed by a talking head where she says that it's pathetic how desperate the other girls are for attention.
I would say the irony was lost on her.
You're 100% right. 100%.
It was very much lost on her. She was not aware of the irony. Tia was, however.
Oh, your throat.
Sorry.
Hey, I think Krystal's on drugs. She sounds like a fucking drug addict. I hope she's on Xanax, because I explain away some of that craziness, man. Her eyes look a little, the eyelids are dripping down a little bit, like drooping down.
She's a mush brain. She's a musher. She says that she's not doing well on the group date, and she doesn't quite hit the nail on the head. She talks about how immature the other girls are and about how attention craving they are. The root of the problem is she's a massive bitch and none of the girls like her. So she has a tremendous problem with being in group dates on account of she's...
Dude, I hear it more and more every time. This is my favorite bit Patrick's ever pulled.
The reason why she's having trouble on these group dates is because she is constantly meeting head-on fiery energy from every single one of the girls who hate her as much as America does. Perhaps more.
Well, I hate her because she's a fucking rat. She pulled aside some of the girls and said, by the way, I told Arie that I think you guys are kind of being mean to me. Like a little rat.
I do love how Tia and Caroline were talking about how they just glaze over every time she speaks because it what Caroline said, she's just so disingenuous and robotic. She's a sex doll. That's all she is.
She's a sex doll, but she is a conniving sex doll because Patrick somewhat glossed over that. But she went up to Arie, and we've talked multiple times how you shouldn't be bringing up another contestant's name. It's only going to hurt you. But if you're going to do it like Krystal did. That was sneaky. She was like, I just feel like I'm being attacked. And he pulled the names out. He's like, when Tia and Caroline, she is sneaky.
She's one of the best competitors we've had in a long time.
And then she tries to pull that snaky, ratty move and pull Tia and Caroline aside and almost confess that she did that, but Tia she is Raven 2.0. She took no shit. She's like, I don't want to hear it. I know what you just did, and I don't love it. And then Tia gets her time with Arie, and rather than make the backlash mistake, and then bring up Krystal, she refocused, she centered on Arie, and she completely threw herself at him.
She's wonderful.
Keep your head in the game, baby.
She's really, really good. I think Caroline's wonderful too, and I'm blown away that she was eliminated, but getting ahead of ourselves.
I don't think I'm going out on a limb and saying we're going to be taking a visit to Wiener this year.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that.
I feel like you guys didn't understand what I was trying to say. I'm saying Tia will get a hometown visit.
No, I understood. I was just mulling
I wasn't saying I'm gonna.
I agreed.
I wasn't saying I was gonna have a wild.
I completely understood.
You didn't think.
What were you gonna say?
You didn't think a visit to Wienerman. I was gonna have a wild night out in West Hollywood, did you?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to give some space here because I am a detailed motherfucker, and I know Dylan's going to cut this out.
Motherfucker.
Krystal, during one of her OTFs, she's been worked over. You can tell how stressed she is. She looked a little puffy. And watch the salt intake, Scratchy.
Hey, do you guys have anything to say about this night date before we move on?
Tia gets the rose.
And the hiccups.
Yeah, I thought it was really... I don't know. I thought it was really fucked up that Arie didn't give Kendall a rose. I thought she deserved it. She did the best on the group date, and they had a wonderful one-on-one conversation.
And she looked amazing in that dress.
So brave today.
I feel like that's just something that I've always wanted to
Brave? Okay.
do. I've always just wanted to eat a bunch of bugs.
Yeah, that was gross.
Mm-hmm. But something that's
It's too much.
really important to me in someone that I date is someone that likes to try new things and challenges themselves. Mm-hmm. So I loved how this date was just a challenge in all different areas.
Yeah, you definitely challenged me. You impressed me.
You're like, and your breath smells like bugs now.
Yeah, and we kissed after all of that. How
We
crazy
did.
is that?
It was just so...
Dude, hearing his voice without the picture, he sounds just... 20,000 leagues under the sea, stupider.
Oh my God, you guys are so mean. Just because he's like involved, like he's no Rhodes Scholar. He definitely couldn't have went to Yale with Cien, but I think he's just genuine and average.
Yeah, I think that oftentimes I'm a little too harsh on Arie, but I do think that he's dumb.
I think he's one-dimensional. He grabs chick's hair. He moves his left hand in there to caress it. Then he touches the shoulder. He makes eye contact. He laughs for no reason in a creepy fashion, and then he grabs the face again, and then he makes out while saying nothing.
I thought it was so funny. SNL did a very, very good sketch about Arie.
I like this.
About Arie this weekend, and my favorite part was they said something about depending on the lighting, he could be handsome or not. Which is what we were talking about last week with his mustard skin jaundice.
I have short hair. Isn't that just the weirdest thing you've ever seen in your life? Because that's what makes her unique.
Hey, do you want to get into Becca? Do you guys want to chat?
I would fucking love...
Easy. Let's talk about Becca.
You mean Terry?
Man, this is growing on me.
Terry says this date's amazing, by the way.
A common practice to get someone on your side, you mimic their actions, their hand motions, and the type of words they're used. So I think when she said amazing, she was trying to do a little personality mirroring.
It could be emotional immaturity because of her age, which is a contentious topic covered on tonight's Bachelor. I mean, honestly, do we have to talk about the hot tub? Is there anything to get into? Can we cut straight to the age conversation?
Well, he says something really stupid here. She goes, hey, do you want to know how old I am? And he says, no, I wanted to get to know you before I asked. You don't want to ask someone how old they are? That's part of getting to know someone? No.
But maybe he was trying to, she said the same way. She didn't want to be looked through the lens of 22, and he had the same thought, though he's not able to verbalize it. Mm-hmm. He did not want, he knew she was young. He knew she was somewhat taboo. He knew she was representative of the type of chicks he's been notching on the belt in the past. Yeah. But he wanted to get to know her, and he did find out she's a pretty impressive person.
I firmly believe that if she was 23 years old, she would win this competition. We have a hilarious clip that, Pat, I know you usually kick to, but I'm just such a fan of this one. If we could kick to this, it kind of perfectly encapsulates Arie's attitude towards Rebecca.
I'm worried about us. You know, I'm scared. You know, I'm 36, you're 22. It, terrifies me. I feel so much for you, just in this, short little bit. But there's also, so many reservations because you are so young. And I'm fearful that I'll fall for you and that it'll all fall apart after all this.
I think I'm scared of the same thing.
But I really, really feel connected to you, and you are incredible and surprising and so much of what I'm looking for. And I feel like this could be the beginning of something amazing. So, Becca, will you accept this rose? Yeah.
You remember when we were talking about how you can see the cogs moving in his brain? He wants to have sex with her so badly, but he's weighing the, what do you call it? Cachet? He's weighing America's opinion of him and doing the right thing. And the right thing is losing by a mile right now.
Every time he says too young or 22, he gets less and less flaccid.
Right.
You know how this exchange ended with this idiot, right? He tells her, and this wasn't in the clip we played, he says, you are possibly the best person I've ever known.
Hey, do you guys want to get into this here rose ceremony talking about it?
Rose ceremony? Don't you mean cocktail party?
I do not mean cocktail party. I mean rose ceremony. Bombshell.
Chris Harrison announcing they're not going to have some drinks before one of them has to go home. A bombshell that's never happened in previous season.
I mean, this is unprecedented.
When he talks to Arie, he says to say they were shocked and dismayed that there was no cocktail party would be a gross understatement.
And Arie said, yeah.
That's amazing. I like that.
I like that. It's amazing.
Do we want to do a little roll call?
Oh, yeah, I do. Hey, roll call. Hit the music. Lauren, Kendall, Ashley, Rebecca, Chelsea, Jenna, Jacqueline, Marique. Oh, they haven't talked to her yet. Or I spent enough time on her. Krystal, only here because she's good TV. And who got sent home? Brittany and Caroline.
Let's jump into Krystal. She pulls him aside and says,
I don't even remember exactly what she said.
Yeah, don't send me home. I mean, it worked. Pat, what did she say?
Oh, I have a clip. You want to hear what she said?
Yeah, please hit us with a clip. Had a feeling. had a strong feeling.
I'm going to run that into the fucking ground.
You already have. So, final thoughts?
I've been very clear on my final thoughts, and I will continue to be consistent. I think Becca Kay took an early lead. She's lovely. She's from Minnesota, and I think she's going to win this. But you guys seem to think no one...
I don't have a winner in this competition right now at all. I know in my heart of hearts that he is going to do everything he possibly can to get Becca to a fantasy suite.
Terry, dude.
I think that he's going to get Rebecca, or Terry...
Rizzo, Betty Boop,
a little sprightly Rebecca to a fantasy suite.
What about you, Pat?
Well, I like Dylan. I thought it was a travesty sending Caroline home. She was definitely one of my favorites. I thought she had a real chance here, but he's infatuated with the little young ones. And I think CN might be a producer push, keep the black girl around. And I don't know.
You guys got to pick a winner. Both of you have to pick a winner.
It's not there, dude. It's not there.
It's not there.
Either he's an empty vessel of a soul and actually doesn't know who the fuck he wants, or the producers are playing with their fucking minds.
Don't shake your head, okay? I don't have any tea leaves to read right now. I have no tea leaves.
Just pick someone.
Fine. CN.
I refuse. I'm not going to pick somebody.
A weird soapbox to stand on. But okay, Dylan won't make a prediction.
Wouldn't you argue that this is so fun about this show? What's fun about it is that we have no fucking clue right now.
But it's so strange because in seasons past, like I was very, very firm that Peter was going to win or that Vanessa was going to win. Very, very early on, the girls, the front runners in this competition bubble up to the surface. Still don't really have that right now because the two front runners, Krystal and Rebecca, there are major flaws with them. Rebecca is too young, and Krystal is a psycho who gives fucking brown sack lunches to people who are walking down the street.
Dylan, to your point, you mentioned earlier, this man leads with his dick and not his brain, and so anything can happen.
Hey, that is it for us. Join Pat's I'm going to call it Pat's Facebook group. I'm not going to refer to it as our Facebook group anymore.
Maybe we'll get more traction if you refer it to like that. We're fucking poison ivy every time I say another Bachelor podcast.
And then also join us on Instagram, and please jump in the ratings and reviews. We will see you guys next week. It is too hot in here. My name is Dylan. Saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
See you guys.
Several of these women are just not prepared for what Arie wants. They're living in such like a false reality. So I'll be that voice of reason and that voice of reality. She's definitely still searching for identity. Arie's looking for a woman, not a girl. However, I don't think they're compatible with Arie, and I want Arie to be able to see that. Arie knows what I have to offer and knows I'm compatible, and I'm secure. It's looking a little, desperate. It's just not at a level that I play at. Meaning it's down here. It just feels so juvenile. I feel like I'm at in high school. Like I'm at a high school camp. And everyone loves a camp counselor. And I'm almost 30. I'm confused as to, is this your life? My relationship with Arie is very strong. Honestly, it was exhausting to watch. And I just hope that Arie sees through all the I'm not sure what I'm gonna say. But whatever I do, I have a feeling it's going to be perfect. They just don't have a sense of self-identity. They don't know who they are. I feel like I've really been compassionate to the other women. This is such to be dealing with. I'm so above this and beyond this. I'm floored. I'm just floored with the insecurities and the immaturity here. It's just baffling. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I'm so vulnerable. I'm sorry, I just honestly feel like a lot of the girls here just don't operate at my level. It's hard for me to really shine who I am while trying not to be intimidating. So I come across as flawless I just feel a little misunderstood.